Wow, 4 months. Okay, I think I kind of suck at this devlog thing. So over the last couple months, I uploaded some videos and some shorts about the game, right? But I never actually talked about what the game really is. So it's time to change that. This right here is it. This is my first ever game. Keep Leapin. Like on my... On the paper, it probably sounds and looks a bit like your generic 2D kind of platformer. I get that. But I would make the argument that it plays very differently. And I know I'm sort of marketing this as a rage game, but I honestly think it's more than just that. I'll explain that later. I mean, yeah, some people, they do rage, not gonna lie. On the surface, Keep Leapin really is a physics-based 2D platformer where you need to get from point A to point B. I know, pretty mind-blowing, but since this is the game that I am learning game development with, I think simple is okay. And besides, the fun part is actually more about how you get from A to B. Yeah, it's not like other 2D platformers put an emphasis on a fun movement system. I can tell I'm really thinking outside of the box here. Is my game doomed? Anyways, the game has a few fundamental building blocks. First, we have the bouncing. This oddly shaped thing called Harry, which happens to be the main character of the game, is always bouncing. I don't know, maybe he's got ADHD or something. I know I have. Is on this mode for good. So in perfect circumstances, Harry will always go the same vertical distance up as he went down previously. If you move horizontally to the side, then you will lose some of that momentum, which is why there is a boost button. And there's also a brake button, but nobody actually really uses that.
Damn, I'm speedy!
Taking all of this together, this creates a very dynamic movement system with quite a high skill ceiling, actually. At least that's what I think. I mean, it's not like I'm biased or something. Now, the thing about the bouncing is that it's mostly fun if you're not falling over, and that's harder than it looks. The typical new player experience kinda looks like this.
Oh, dude, the controls for this are so bad.
I understand that this is a problem when it comes to player retention. I don't know if I can fix it. If you want to know if I can, you can, like, and subscribe. Anyways, I know that I just said that you're always bouncing, and that was a lie. There is technically also a way to pause your jumps, and then you can even adjust like the trajectory. However, I feel like hardly anyone ever uses that. It is there, and it does allow for a more slow-paced and careful playstyle. But of course, you don't just bounce in this game. There is some other stuff. Let's start with the thing that seems to be unanimously loved, the Wallslides. It's actually a very simple mechanic, but people actually find it really satisfying.
Oh, that's satisfying.
The way it works is that your incoming speed determines how far you can slide on the wall before the gravity kicks back in. And that's kind of it. But as with the bouncing, it takes skill to get that perfect slide. Next, we have the grapples. Again, fairly simple. Once you are in this circle and press the button, then you swing. You can control how long that chain is going to be. And then there is this one other thing, which honestly I really love about the game. If you take a closer look, you will notice that the grapple is always attached to Harry's feet. I mean, if you can call that feet, I suppose. New players tend to use the grapple like this, whereas more experienced players use it like this. Did you spot the difference? I am aware that this is something that might even frustrate new players because it does tend to break their momentum, but I intentionally do not tell them how to do it. I also intentionally keep it the way it is because I think that once you learn by yourself how to use it, it just feels really cool, and it's like it's something that you learn. Then we have the slingshots. They are still work in progress, but once you get a feeling for it, you can actually pull off some crazy stuff with it. I'm a very big fan of this new mechanic. And last but not least, we have the wall jumps. And oh lord, did I duck up here. Whereas the Wallslides and the grapple were pretty much loved by everyone, the wall jumps were kind of, unanimously hated by most people. Maybe hated is a strong word.
I think that's the worst wall jump I've ever played in a game.
A lot of people struggle to the point where you could see this having a clear effect on their enjoyment. And you know what? You're all wrong. No, but for real, I personally really think that the wall jumps are a great idea for the game. I think the problem is more how I introduce them. I guess it's night now. Anyways, like with all of the other mechanics, the wall jumps too are dynamic. It really depends on the speed and the angle that you touch them. Once they are understood, they are actually so easy to pull off. I understand why, especially for new people, it's really hard because they need to adjust their rotation in midair when the game is already new and the controls are weird. I get that. And this is also why I implemented something like an experimental ability where you just press a button and Harry will kind of shift his feet toward the wall. And this actually made it so much easier for anyone that tried the game after that. And this is a bit off topic, but since we're talking about the wall jumps, I want to announce that I am now a voice actor. When Harry does the thing, you hear him make a sound. I did that. I know, I'm very proud too. So that's like the main mechanics. You probably already spotted the fundamental design philosophy behind all of these mechanics and the entire game. It's momentum. This is where I think the magic of the game really happens. And this is where the people playing the game, they just get locked in.
It's got the gameplay loop that's satisfying, like scratches the back of your brain.
Everything you do in Keep Leapin requires some level of finesse. If you are doing poorly, then yes, the game is incredibly clunky and you're kind of just wiggling around like a fish, you know? But when you do well, like this is where the game is at its absolute peak. I think for some people, this will always just be a rage game. But at the same time, I hope that for another group of people, it's gonna be more than that. But how much of a rage game it really is, besides the weird controls, also really depends on the type of levels that the game actually has. So far, I have tried 3 different types of levels. In the current version of the game, we have a speed level. It's all about getting the best time, and there is not really any punishment, you know, other than maybe struggling. Then there is what I called the Topple Tower, which is more like what you're used to from traditional rage games. Basically, you can fall all the way down and lose all of your progress.
No! I made it so far!
In my version, you can actually unlock a few things along the way, just so that it's not too brutal, I guess. The last type of level is what I used in the previous version of the game. It's pretty much a mix of the two. It's also centered around the idea of, you know, reaching the very top. But here, once you reach a new floor, you are not punished. You can just start at the start of each floor. Truth is, I'm a bit lost there. I would really wish that I had more feedback, that I had more people playing the game and telling me what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy. So now I think it's a bit clear what Keep Leapin is all about. I will try my best not to take another 4 months until I upload the next video. No promises though. Got other stuff to do, like my master thesis, for example. In the meantime, you know, play the demo, give me some feedback that hurts. That's all right. I really need to know where I stand with the game. Please wishlist the game, Shy Claire, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.